Okay, so now time to learn about conditionals. So the conditionals is a more important tutorial in JavaScript, and let's learn about a little bit conditionals and see how it works in JavaScript console. So there are two forms of conditional statements in JavaScript. There are if statement and also if else statements. So we will learn right now an if statement. So if statement is used to execute a code of if something is true, or for example, if you let's say if you've been good, you get a threat, let's say, or this one example, or an if else statement that's executes on a code if something is true and another if not. If that's if the color is red, do that. If not or else, do that. Don't do that. Okay. So if the color is red, so press button. Else, don't press. That's the normal conditional. So guys, this if statement is the simplest way of JavaScript's control structures. And now I will give some just example and then show you actually how we can work with if statement. Firstly, I want to write here over here actually how structure is looking, how the structure looks like. So we should write first if, and then within brackets we should write the condition. Okay, so then open up curly brackets and then write your console.log. Okay, and within the console you can write do something. So that's our condition. Let's say conditional, if conditional. Okay, so this general structure of an if statement, and now I want to give you just one example, understand how actually it works, and then do it as like comment out. That's the interesting point. You should know about that. So we can comment out is something like that, or do that. Okay, do that. So asterisk, a slash asterisk, and a slash and asterisk slash. Okay. So now guys, I'm going right over here. That's our condition, and then let's write variable. Let's say age equals 25 or 25. So I have console.log, then I'm going to write variable age console.log I am, okay, plus age. So I will give right now condition. My condition is if my statement, or if state my condition value, okay, not value, age dot, or age equal than, or let's say bigger than 30. Okay, that's my condition. Open up curly brackets. For console, for me, what you should console, that's you are getting old. Okay, so that's my console, and I'm going to show you in my console and see it actually how it works in here. So I am 25. So now we create a variable called age and set its value to the string, or not string, to the integer 25. Okay, so if I will change that and do that, you are getting all. I will get the message, as you see here, because the age not bigger than 30. Okay, so that's our condition. If age bigger than 30, console log. As you see here, there are age, so there is age 25. We don't need console, you are getting all. But here, age less than 30. So we can console log, you are getting all. So that's about if statement. And now I'm going to tell you about if else statement. And if as I said before, if statement just one condition. If something else like that, do something. But then we can add one more statement that's else. If it's like that, do something. Else, don't something. Okay? So let's extend the example from earlier and then right over here, else, and I'm going to close and then open up again. Console log for me. Let's just, I've 30, you are getting all. You are young. Okay, so now I'm going to copy and paste and to put over my browser, and then you are young, because that's the second statement, that's the second condition, because that's bigger than 30 and my age is 25. Else, it means that if age less than 30, so 25 is less than 30, so console log you are young. Here you are young. So guys, that's the if and else statements. You should know the main things. So I will change and show you this. Let's do that here, and if condition console log, and that's the second structure with else. Console.log do something else. Okay, that's the general structure of an if-else statements. So that's all about if and else statement we've talked about right now. In the next video, I will tell you about loops. That's much more important and complicated lessons, not let's say tutorial, and you will learn about in the next video. See you in the next one. So guys, the loops is much more interesting in complicated and then more useful content, and that allow you to run a piece of code multiple times depending on condition remains true. So I will show you actually how loops works, and firstly we will start with you guys with while loops. I'm going to delete everything over here, we don't need it right now. So first of all, learn about what is a looping and how can while loop works. So I told about the loop. What is a loop? So in while loops, the simplest kind of loop is while loop, and then while loop repeatedly executes its body until a particular condition stops being true. So actually what we want to say with while looping, I'm going to say you guys keep doing something or keep doing this while this condition is true. Then I'm continuing. So stop when the condition becomes false. All right. Now I will show you now. It's while. That's my condition. I will write now for you structure. Then console log do something. Okay. And I will give you this I plus 1 or plus plus. So what we're gonna say right now, like an if statement, the body of a while loop is executed if the condition is true. Okay, unlike an if statement, after the body is executed, the condition is checked again if it's still true. That's why we've put here I plus plus, and the body runs again. That's like just condition that cycle goes on until the condition is false. So how a while loop works actually. So let's say I have variable count numbers, okay, equals 0, and then I will give some while. My condition is count numbers smaller than, let's say, 7, okay, curly brackets. The console log you counted or have counted and plus our count numbers and plus numbers or numbers. Okay, so now I will give count numbers. It's like I plus I1. Okay, count numbers plus plus. Okay, so that right now we've just programmed this interesting thing example with count numbers with while loop, and let's see that how it will give the result. No, not this way. Every time you are appearing here, I don't want to see you guys. Not see you guys. No, I don't want to see you screen recorder. I mean. So till 6, 1, 2, from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, you have counted 0 numbers, 1 numbers, 2 numbers. Okay, so that's actually how it works. You have counted 0 and then 1 and then 2 and then 3 and then 4 till 6. So that actually worked. I will change that. Okay, now do it again. Yeah, and I forgot every time spaces. Yeah, from 0 till 6, except 7, because 7 doesn't include it. So we create a variable called count numbers and sets value to 0, and when we reach the while loop we check to see whether count numbers is less than 7, because 0 is less than 7. The code inside the braces, the body of the loop, rounds, and you have counted plus count numbers plus numbers is logged as you have counted 0 numbers. And next, count numbers plus plus adds 1 to the value of count numbers. Okay, and we go back to the start of the loop over and over, and this repeats until count numbers becomes 7, at which point the condition becomes false. That's all about while looping, guys. And I will tell you now for loop. And for loop is a little bit different, but we can do the same. And let's write the same thing, and that will be for and set up condition. Okay, an increment. So console.log do something. Okay, that's our structure. So how I can do that? I will write for. I'll write for open up variable. Let's say I have count number equals to 0, and then count number and smaller than 7, and my increment count number plus plus. So then open up my console.log I have counted plus count number and plus number. Okay, so take this one, that's for loop, but this is a little bit different from while loop, and then a little bit in, let's say, easy way to write. So the same thing we had with for loops. So the same thing we did right now, and we can do the same code or for our projects, and we can use for loops with arrays, with strings, and do some exercises, and I will show you guys just one example. Let's say I want to looping a variable, let's say just over here I will write from 0 for variable x equals 5, and then x smaller than 100, and x equals x 2 asterisk 2. Okay, so here's a way to print all the powers of 5 below the number 100. Okay, so now I'm going to write over here console.log then x. So we set x to 5 and increment the value of using x equals, that's incrementing 2 times. Okay, so let's see how our math will work. 5, 10, 20, 40, 80. Okay, so 2 times 5 multiplied 2, 10, twice more, 20, 40, and 80 till 100. That's the way how for looping works, guys. Thank you so much. See you in the next one. So just time to start learn about JavaScript events. So that's a little bit exciting part. In JavaScript events, we will learn how we can do more events with JavaScript. So we can talk about a little bit just on-click event and mouse over event and etc. Right now, firstly, I'm going to write my code on or just create some button. Let's create our button and I'm going to give some ID that will be, let's say, on click. Okay, my ID is on click and then click. That's my button, or I can write over here, not on click, go button. Save that and refresh the page. I have click button. Then I can open up my inspect page, and when I click, I can open up here console as well to see the actions. Click, nothing happens. Why? So you know, guys, because we should write our JavaScript code for eventing. So that will be document dot on click. Okay, equals to on click equals to move function and open up the function console log click me. So let's save that and go to the page, refresh, click me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times and more times you can do that. That's the on-click event. We can just use this on-click event and then see the results in our console. So likewise, I can do another example. Let's say I have in JavaScript my function. So my function is hello function. Okay, so then I can open up my alert, not only just console. I can write over here alert and see result, not in the console, in the page. Hello world. Okay, so then go to the index HTML and then that's button. I can change this go button ID and I can give some type button. That's, let's say, button, then on click event equals to our function. or my function is hello. So that's my function, and save that and save my JavaScript code as well, and refresh our page and do the same. So I got the alert. So when I click and then use the click event on click event, and when I click the button, I get alert hello world automatically. Okay, so that's our on click event. Then I will show you and talk about a little bit just another event that is on mouse over event. So when I hover over some file or some area, I will get some result. What I mean actually, guys, let's create another example here, and within body I would create some div, and then within the div I can give some ID with hover, because I will hover over, and then my event is on mouse over. Okay, mouse over equals to, let's write hover, not hover, just let's write over. Okay, and then open and close, that's the function. As a function I can give my on mouse over. Right now I want to give some style over here within the HTML. I will do it internal, not external. So I want to give some style. Let's say I want to get some background color, in, let's say, blue. Okay, so the height is 150 pixels, and my width is the same. All right, so that's what I want to get as a result. And in my JavaScript I will create something different. I have a function by the name over. Okay, so we have this function, and already we gave this function and shown this function in our div. So we have a special div with the background color, and we have hover ID, and on mouse over event, and our on mouse over event with over function, let's say. And this function I can open up the curly brackets over here and then give some event equals to, in JavaScript you can use document get element by ID syntax, guys. If we give user some ID, we can just get back with ID and use this ID. Using this ID we can just make some change, or right now we are trying to make some events. Okay, so our ID was hover, so that's the reason why I'm writing over here hover, because I'm going to get ID from my index HTML. So variable e equals to document get element by ID. Which ID? The ID is hover, and then I will add the style as well, because we have style, e.style, and I will display guys none. Okay, so let's save that and go back to page refresh. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So document get element out. Right now we have a problem over here. Reason is that I should write by with a big letter. So save that again and then refresh and go. You see? Go. When I hover over to the blue div, that will disappear. So there is no div or after hovering on div box. So I will do it again to show you. That's the JavaScript secret. So what we did, guys, we tried use mouse over event, and I've tried to write this on mouse over event within the div, and I gave here over on mouse overs function, and I've created my over function here, and I create my variable and then use the ID hover because our ID was hover, guys, and then I tried to change the style and give the display none. That means I will delete, I will remove this box. So that's the on mouse over, how on mouse over works. So there are more events, guys. I've talked about only on mouse over and on click. Also we have on mouse, after on mouse over I can talk about on mouse out event, and we can write the same thing in or on change event we can change the color or something else, or we can create some input or change the value, change the color, background color, or we can use on load event, guys. So also we have on focus event. You can learn about and try these events, and firstly you should understand how it works actually. The last thing I will show you guys one of them. I would like now to write about on change event. This event detects the change in value of any element listing to this event. So I mean, let's say I have some input element here. Input element, and as an input I have, let's say, my on change equals to alert and I will use this. So that is a little bit advanced topic, so using this or something like that, and I will tell you about later, and I will create different something interesting interactive JavaScript course, and then you will see and learn about more deeply in that course. So input on change event alert equals to alert this value, and then type number. Okay, so now we will get the result. Now let's see how it actually will work. So save that, okay, and that will not work, and go back to here so when I will click enter, I will get result alert the same value. That's the on change event, and this event detects, as I told before, this event detects a change in value. So we are writing the value over here. That's, let's say, 10 and 10. Okay, so this event detects the change in value of any element. Okay, that's the one of them we've talked about and discussed about JavaScript event, guys. That's all. See you in the next one.